Oh my. Olivia Chaney live in Studio B on WNCW. Studio B sessions are made possible by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company.
Cool. I like that beer. Sorry. Is that like illegal to say that? Sorry. Just rewind that bit.
Yeah. Oh, tell us about your band here.
So my band is me playing various guitars and the keys, and then I have this fine, beautiful musician and human being called Jordan Hunt with me, and he's playing violin and singing and playing piano as well, and he's a great songwriter too. So check out his music, and we're old friends, and yeah, he's kind of. I mean, it took me a long time to put out my first solo record. I was like 33 and I got signed by None Such Records, which was like, and kind of, I want to say dream come true, although I didn't know about record labels. I was just like getting on with being a jobbing musician in London, which is hard enough as it is. It's a bit like being in New York, it's like economically so tough and stuff. So, but the point of what I was saying is that I actually did a ton of collaborations, and they were pretty wacky as well. I did I was choreographed in shows. I worked with dancers. I did some acting, even though I've never trained as an actress. I had a stint at the Shakespeare's Globe Theatre where I was like playing my harmonium and singing and acting as well. And I did like crazy performance art, live art stuff. I kind of did everything. I studied jazz as well. It's like, but then, yeah, I don't know, just the hunger kicked in for I suppose defining the things I wanted to say, and a culmination, I suppose, of all those influences and obsessional listening phases to the craziest mix of stuff in my 20s and while I was at college as well. And anyway, so now it's in a way, Jordan is my main collaborator, and I've kind of whittled things down, and yeah, he understands my brain, which is probably quite challenging sometimes.
Not a challenge at all.
Aww.
Jordan doesn't have anything to say in that regard. Imagine that. Wise man. Now, Jordan, you played on the record, and Thomas Bartlett also was the other player, your producer.
Yeah, I mean, in my humble opinion, two geniuses, really, Thomas and Jordan, and they hit it off as I knew they would. Yeah, Thomas, where does one begin? I mean, he's just such an extraordinary being and musician as well. I don't know if you guys ever play the Gloaming, his kind of Irish folk supergroup as well. That's just one of many things he does. So he's a phenomenal piano player and live musician, but he's really making a great career for himself as a record producer now too. And I mean, he was just a dream to work with. It was even better than I could have hoped for. He just was so sympathetic to my kind of I was going to say my strange needs, but I'm so self-critical. It's I suppose what I mean is the whole issue of production can get quite political, I think, especially within the music industry. It's there's a real pressure to just put a ton of stuff on your music. And that's probably why I get called a folk musician, because I don't put loads of layers on things. And that is the part of me that's... I just had to do an interview the other day where I was why do you think people are drawn to folk music? And I think that's part of it, is there's a kind of transparency and I suppose an implication through that of a kind of honesty or something. And yeah, you're not hiding behind anything. It's very kind of gritty and real. And yeah, I think that is for me, in that sense, if that makes me a folk musician, then yeah, I probably am. And it's not to say that, I've worked with electro bands. I did the Offer Rex project. I'm not anti all sorts of other things, but for some reason when I write my very challenging, complicated piano parts and guitar parts, it's all the information that I want in there musically and also with my lyrics. That's it. I don't really want to add anything else necessarily to tell the story. So, and that's not to everyone's taste, but it's kind of a taste thing ultimately.
Are you getting a lot of predictable comparisons now that you're touring the States and your record is out?
Yeah. I thought you were going to then say some names, but no, I don't think so. I mean, I've been coming to the States for quite a bit. I was even coming here a bit before I signed to None Such. I toured with a few other bands, and came out here and probably played some illegal shows without a visa as well, and borrowed guitars. But I mean, yeah, I've had a lot of comparisons to Sandy Denny, the late Sandy Denny, and sometimes if I'm lucky, Joni as well. I'll take it. I mean, they're my heroines. Having said which, I don't try to sound like them, and I actually don't think I do particularly sound like them, but I don't really mind, because I think they're so great that if that's what people hear in me, then that's fantastic. I'll be lucky, you know.
I think it's pretty neat that you were invited to sing at Shirley Collins' birthday party.
Oh, you're Shirley Collins fan. Yeah, I mean, she's kind of become a friend as well, and I mean, how extraordinary to not make a record for how many decades, I think, I don't know, and then make like a record when you're 81. That's pretty cool. And yeah, she's just still so kind of youthful and energetic, and she's just a lovely lady. And yeah, her records are so iconic as well. So I kind of guested on a bit of that Lodestar tour. That was really fun. Yeah.
We're live with Olivia Chaney on WNCW. Got a show tonight at the Grey Eagle, and we'd like to hear one more if you've got it.
I'm going to dash over to the keys then. Do you want 2 or 1?
We'll talk after this one, and I think you've got one more coming if you've got it in you.
So we'll play you another song from the new record called Roman Holiday, which one of your guys here was one of the first people to be like, oh, I love that movie. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was kind of a little joke, because it's not really about the Audrey Hepburn film at all, and Gregory Peck, but it was a kind of nod to that. There's always lots of layers of meaning in my songs, and even the titles, and sometimes they're just private jokes to myself, but your guy got it. So 10 out of 10.